If you're trying to get rich off of wholesaling real estate, you got to be doing a lot of volume. I'm like, so many people on Instagram and YouTube and all the people teaching wholesaling and teaching real estate, they got all their flashy cars and they got all their flashy this, that, and planes and all this type of stuff. They're flying private jets and all this stuff. And they're like preaching to people, hey, you need to get rich wholesaling real estate. And I'm like, no, you don't. That sounds miserable to me. This is going to sound crazy, but it sounds miserable to me to get rich off of wholesaling real estate, especially doing something like direct to seller, because it's tiring. When you get a deal that comes in the pipeline or you get a check that comes in the pipeline in wholesaling real estate, one, it took a lot of work. There's a lot of moving parts to go out and make that check. And here's the deal. Right when you get this check, you got to go back and do the whole entire process over again to get another check. And it's just a rinse and repeat thing. You got to keep them coming in. You got to keep them coming in. So if you're trying to get rich off of wholesaling real estate, you got to be doing a lot of volume. So there's people out here that preach, yo, you can make $250,000 a month to $500,000 a month to $1 million a month wholesaling real estate. You definitely can. And I know people that are doing that. But yo, that is hell. Managing all those salespeople, having all that turnover, managing all that data, all that hustle after hustle after hustle after hustle. I'm like, yo, that sounds so tiring to me. I'm good. I don't want to do that. Screw that. Here's the good news. In my opinion, the like kind of the nice sweet spot. Ooh, that's what I was looking for. The sweet spot in wholesaling is somewhere between $50,000 a month to $150,000 a month. Once you hit like over 100, that's when you start getting really stressed out. That's when you have a decent amount of salespeople on your team and you're managing a lot, and a lot of transactions are going on, meaning a lot of fires are having to be put out in these transactions. Title is going crazy on this one deal. Buyers are backing out on this deal, doing all the things. Like a lot of stuff goes on. It's not just going out, locking up contracts, and that's it. Like I have a deal right now that we're working. It's a probate lead. And we've been going back and forth with the seller, with the dispo wholesaler, with the buyer, with the attorney. Like we're spending more time on the back end of the transaction than we are actually locking up the deal and doing the thing. So it's a lot of management. But here's the good news. If you're in this sweet spot of like 50, I'm going to say 150K, because that's like getting aggressive, but really where you want to be is somewhere between like $50,000 and $100,000 a month. This is very realistic, by the way. This is like a very realistic goal. Now, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying it's simple. And there's very simple blueprints that you could just follow, be somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000 a month, and not have to work in your business and not have to be pulling your freaking hair out, and be able to scale out and only have to work like an hour or two a month. I mean, hour or two a day, pretty much. Like for me, that's pretty much the sweet spot that we're in, somewhere around there every single month consistently. I'm only having to be on the actual wholesale business, working in it, not on it, working in it about an hour or two a day. And it took me longer than it should have. Like this could literally take you 6 to 12 months to scale yourself out of, if you're really hammering and building a skill set. Okay. So that sweet spot of like of $50,000 to $100,000 in revenue a month. Let's break that down, right? Somewhere between 50 and 100K a month, you should be able to live off that. If you can't live off that, then you are freaking eating, Ruth Chris, and you're getting pedicures every day and you're doing all the things. You're probably not even working if your living expenses are more than that. So $50,000 to $100,000 should allow you to comfortably live. Okay. But here's what's going to happen. Remember, I said, you don't want to like focus all your time and energy on getting super rich with wholesaling, because you can get super rich taking yourself out of wholesale and then utilizing the wholesale business to go do other things to get rich. Because if you're spending all your time trying to get rich in this wholesale business, you literally are just putting yourself in like a high paid job, and it's almost like a prison. So what you want to do is be in this sweet spot between 50 and 100K, so that you only have to work in the business 1 to 2 hours a day, and spend all your time and energy in other places that are much easier, because wholesaling is not, I will say, I think I said this before, it's simple, but it's not easy. I'm telling you, it's not easy. You got to keep following up. You got to, once you follow up and you finally go on an appointment or you finally get a contract, you got to send it out to the attorneys. You got to send it out to title work and all these, you got to send it out to dispo, and all these other things happen. And it's not easy. You deal with a lot of BS. So if you're dealing with, like, let's think about this. If we do the math on it, right? Our average assignment fee is probably like 20 to 25,000. Let's just call it 25,000. Let's just say you needed to get, let's just say you were trying to get rich and you're trying to make a bunch of money, like all these people on Instagram and YouTube are talking about. And you want to make $250,000 a month in that. You're going to have to do like 10 deals a month. That's not contracts a month. That's like deals going to the closing table and the deed transferring. You're going to have that. That means, like, in your wholesale pipeline, like on your whiteboard, you're going to have like over 20 contracts at a time, probably even more. That's a lot. That's a lot of one hustling and bustling and, you know, going out and following up and doing the thing, going out directly to sellers. Like, that is freaking tiring, in my opinion. I'm like, why not follow a blueprint that's somewhere between like 50 and 100K a month that you can live comfortably off of, pay your bills, do whatever you got to do, and then spend the rest of your time building your fix and flip business, building your portfolio, building your brand, doing all these things that are actually easier. I promise you. Once you build this wholesale business, it's like your heartbeat. If you can build a wholesale business that's making you like 50 to 100K a month, it ends up being your heartbeat, meaning you're going to be able to pay your bills. You have consistent deals coming in the door. You could start cherry picking some of the deals to put in your portfolio or fix and flip business. Like, it's literally your heartbeat that helps everything else out. So if you can get in that sweet spot of like 50 and 100K and scale yourself out of it, meaning like you only have to be in the business 1 or 2 hours a day, if that. I'm going to be leaving for that wedding that I was talking to you guys about earlier for a whole entire week. And I guarantee we still get multiple contracts done. I guarantee we still do all the things. Obviously, the business operation is a little bit more smoother when I'm around and I'm helping out and I'm maybe hopping on the phone for one of my sales reps to, you know, push the seller forward or whatever the case is. Obviously, we produce more. But now that I'm thinking about it, I don't really have to be there. It'll probably still operate. Okay.